From Vermont Public, this is The Frequency. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. It's Tuesday, May 13th, and here are today's headlines. A federal grant that was supposed to help low-income, rural, and aging Vermonters better utilize the state's new high-speed broadband network has been terminated by the Trump administration. Vermont Community Broadband Board Director Christine Hallquist said the federal government stopped the program because it addressed diversity and equity issues, even though in Vermont, the grant was set to serve just about the entire state.
It's not targeted to any specific group. It's targeted to all groups who are on the other side of the digital divide.
Vermont was supposed to get $5.3 million to set up programs to help people understand and access the Internet. The board voted Monday to continue the program and will try to find the funding through other grants. Meanwhile, federal funding is also off the table now for arts and culture organizations across Vermont. Those organizations have been notified that their federal grants are canceled, and the organizations include the Vermont Symphony Orchestra, Vermont Folklife, and the Flynn Center. Susan Evans McClure is the executive director of the Vermont Arts Council. It's the local partner agency for the National Endowment for the Arts, which canceled the grants. Yesterday, on Vermont Edition, she said many arts groups are standing on increasingly shaky ground.
It's really important to look at this in a broader context of what's happening for funding for the arts and culture and the chaos around it, that there is a lot of chaos around all of these federal funding cuts. And in many cases, the chaos is part of the intent, and we're seeing that play out in our communities.
The Vermont Arts Council does still expect to receive federal funding this year. Evans McClure says local artists can apply for grants directly from the council. Meanwhile, some Vermont politicians, upset with how Trump administration actions are affecting international relations, are taking actions of their own. State Treasurer Mike Pichak and Burlington Mayor Emma Mulvaney-Stanek were among dozens of Vermonters who visited Montreal over the weekend to offer gestures of friendship with Canada. The Montreal Gazette reports the trip and rally at Montreal's Jean Talon Market was designed to offer an apology to Canadians for the actions of President Trump. Trump has imposed steep tariffs on Canada and repeatedly threatened to turn Canada into the, quote, 51st state. That has prompted many Canadians to cancel trips to Vermont and boycott U.S. products. And Supreme Court Justice David Souter has died. A former New Hampshire Attorney General, Souter was tapped in 1990 by President George H.W. Bush to sit on the nation's highest court. He would spend 19 years there before retiring in 2009. Souter's death is being mourned by the New Hampshire legal community, where he had many friends. Lucy Hodder was a neighbor of Souter's and is a professor at the Franklin Pierce School of Law in Concord.
His decisions were impeccable and beautiful. And to this day, I still teach many of his decisions in my classes, and I always find another gem of his wisdom.
Souter was 85 years old. He died at his home in Hopkinton, New Hampshire, last Thursday. Coming up, we shine a spotlight on another Vermont-based band and a musician who have thrown their hats into the ring for this year's NPR Tiny Desk concert contest. You'll hear from the Hokum brothers and Wes Pearce after this. Thousands of musicians from across the country are waiting to see whether they'll get to perform on one of the biggest stages in music media today. That's because NPR will soon announce the winner of the annual Tiny Desk contest, which provides an unsigned artist with the opportunity to record one of the namesake shows and get all the exposure that comes with it. Nearly 40 artists from Vermont submitted entries this year, and we've chosen a few to share with you in the lead-up to NPR announcing a winner. In this episode, we'll hear from musicians Wes Pearce and this trio, the Hokum brothers.
I'm Woody Keppel, a.k.a. Woody Hokum, and I play the guitar, and I sing, and I write melodies and things.
I'm Gus Ziesing. I play tenor, sax, clarinet, and button accordion, and I sing.
And I'm Alan Nichols, and I play drums, sort of, and I sing.
The Hokum brothers.
Vaudeville in my blood is sort of the style the Hokum brothers play, and it was an amazing time in our history from roughly 1880 to 1930. It was our American pastime, and my grandma, Granny Gran, was a vaudevillian, and so as a kid I heard stories of performers in the circuit.
Jimmy Durante and old Edwin.
Wow.
You know we're never gonna see them again.
Wow, wow.
They had a thing, it's not over the hill.
Wow.
A little thing they call vaudeville.
A friend of Woody's was very handy with a camera, And we did a one-take handheld camera version of the song. And we played in Woody's living room, his Bohemian Lounge, and he set up his own personal desk to be in the foreground.
We had the tiny desk, and then we had Woody's voice going through a little amp, so he was the microphone.
'Cause I've got vaudeville in my blood.
This would be a kazoo solo. Alan and I were singing backup with no microphone, but it came out great. You know, we just sang loudly like you would in a theater or something.
Yeah.
And then I was playing saxophone, and I had to play it really quietly, given how soft everything else was without microphones.
Wow, wow. Bill Bojangles danced the old soft shoe. Wow. And WC did his tricks for you. It couldn't have happened at a better time. The sun's gonna come out, the stars are gonna shine. I thank those stars above, 'cause I've got vaudeville in my blood.
That was Vermont music trio the Hokum Brothers. Up next, Wes Pearce.
I'm Wes Pearce. I'm a singer-songwriter living in Washington, Vermont. I also am by trade a climbing arborist. And I've been in Vermont now about 2 years. I chose healing for the video submission because I've been on this long string of trying to write positive songs in ways that it's sometimes what I want to hear, but it's also often what I wish I could tell to other people if I had a platform and I had an opportunity to give someone a little bit of encouragement. Phrases as simple as, you'll be just fine if you want to be, you'll be just fine if you choose to be. And as cheesy as that can be in a broader societal context, when not everything can just be okay. A lot of things might be out of your control, but if you can find and identify those things within yourself that you do have control over, or that you know that you do have support to overcome, the song is for those moments. I left home as a teenager, ran away, rode freight trains, hitchhiked, did all that, traveled around the country, and then a couple years into doing all that, I ended up in Montpelier at a coffee shop, and I met some circus performers. And they're like, oh, we live in Asheville, North Carolina, you should come visit sometime. And so that's how I ended up there. Since the hurricane, I've been down there doing a lot of tree work, getting trees off houses, cleaning up storm damage, and then also here I am coming back to central Vermont after all those years. You've been told that since the beginning. You don't want no cliche melody. With this incredible opportunity of the internet, it could be in front of 30 people to 30 million people at any given time, and that's an opportunity that otherwise it would take me 10, 15 years to put myself in front of that many people. A friend recently suggested to me that you don't need to wait for the really high quality recording. You don't have to wait for the really high quality video. You can just go ahead and make the best thing that you can with whatever you have. And that's going to be as authentic as anything else that you'll ever do. So we just put cell phones up around as if we were in a studio and did the best that we could with what we had. And I'm proud of that.
That's Vermont musician Wes Pearce, along with the Hokum brothers. They've entered this year's Tiny Desk concert contest held by NPR. You can check out their submissions at our website, vermontpublic.org. And thanks for listening to The Frequency today. We had additional reporting from Howard Weiss-Tisman, Michaela Lafrac, Mark Davis, and the New England News Collaborative. Today's episode was edited by Liam Elder-Connors, and our music is by Blue Dot Sessions. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. Talk to you tomorrow.
Planet Money helps you understand the economy. We find the people at the center of the story.
Garbage in New York, that was like a controlled substance.
We show you how money influences everything.
Tell me what you like by telling me how you spend your money.
And we dig until we get answers.
I had a bad feeling you were going to bring that up.
Planet Money finds out. All you have to do is listen. The Planet Money Podcast from NPR.